Do you follow rules or like breaking them? Are you a fan of Grey's Anatomy like us? Well, in today's video, we are telling you about all the strict rules that the Grey's Anatomy cast had to follow on set. Stick around till the end of this video to see what happens when you break one of these rules. Rule number 7, cast members are not allowed to date. What kind of rule is that? You constantly get to see the characters hook up with each other on the show, but what about in real life? All the actors of Grey's Anatomy are married or dating other people that have nothing to do with the show. Let's just say, don't mix work and dating. The two don't go together. None of the actors of this show have dated each other in real life. That's because showrunner Shonda Rhimes will get rid of them if they do. Her reason for this is that there are already so many people working together, bickering nonstop. Imagine the fights between cast members if romance was involved. That's just a big no. Does that break your heart that you won't be able to see your favorite characters date each other in real life? Try another show for that. Rule number 6, don't be homophobic. Being homophobic is a hateful crime. It can break a person down and damage him or her more than you can imagine. Isaiah Washington is an actor who left Grey's Anatomy way too soon. Don't miss him as much as Dr. Preston Burke? You might, but the other cast members of Grey's Anatomy surely don't. Let's just say he isn't the biggest fan of Patrick Dempsey. In 2006, the two got into a fight on set where Isaiah tells Patrick that he is not his gay sidekick like TR Knight. As much worse word was used to describe TR Knight, but we won't say it because it's too horrible. This homophobic slur doesn't sit well with anyone, especially TR Knight, who at the time hadn't publicly announced that he's gay. Sadly for Knight, his secret came out in the worst way instead of him being able to proudly reveal it himself. On the Ellen DeGeneres show, Knight has broken down in tears telling the world he has never been so insulted in his life. He was forced to come out instead of waiting for the time to be right. Knight is devastated and disappointed that Isaiah Washington could do such a thing to another human being. It's bullying. The worst of it all was that Washington doesn't stop after that one incident. At the 2007 Golden Globes, Grey's Anatomy won the award for Best Drama TV Series. Backstage, Washington talked to a bunch of reporters claiming that he never said anything homophobic about TR Knight, but everyone knew he was lying. He later publicly apologized to Knight, to his colleagues, the fans of the show, and especially the fans from the lesbian and gay community. Isaiah Washington was fired and out of a job because of his homophobic and hateful behavior. He is only forgiven years later, appearing in Season 10. Yikes, talk about ruining your reputation. Rule number 5, if the showrunner doesn't like you, your goose is cooked. Shonda Rhimes calls the shots. She's been running the show from the beginning and no one will disobey her. So, which cast member is first on her chopping block? It's safe to say her name starts with a K. Katherine Heigl, who plays Izzy from season 1 to 6, is someone who didn't keep her mouth shut about how she feels about Shonda. She straight up says, due to Shonda's bad storyline for Izzy, viewers started disliking her character. Shonda didn't take this insult very well and vengefully fired Heigl for her insolence. It doesn't matter if the viewers love a character. That's not important to Shonda. If they don't kiss her feet, they're gone. TR Knight is a good example of an actor that didn't get on with his boss. Knight tells us that there was simply a breakdown of communication between him and Rhimes. He didn't see any possibility in fixing things and found himself kicked off the show. When Rhimes was asked whether she has killed off characters because she doesn't get on with them, she says yes, and that she is not going to name any names. You do you, girl. Rule number 4, don't throw up. This job isn't like any other silly acting job. Grey's Anatomy involves some serious surgery, injuries, and anything inside of the body. Sorry to disappoint, but the surgeries performed on the show are not real. They are, however, based on real surgeries. Well, most of the time. If you're a doctor and watch Grey's Anatomy, let us know down below in the comments whether you think it's close to the real thing or not. But that doesn't make the job any less gross. Fake blood and prosthetics are used looking pretty realistic. There are real pig organs used on the show. Now that is disgusting. What you and I see on TV is what the cast sees. That means that if you are squeamish, better find yourself another job. Rule number 3, your character's fate lies in the hands of Ellen Pompeo. Literally. Meredith Grey and Derek Shepherd have great chemistry on screen, but off screen, Not at all. These two are sworn enemies. Ellen Pompeo hates Patrick Dempsey in real life. But why? First of all, because he was paid way more than her. He was more famous, playing in more movies than she did before Grey's Anatomy. She was a mere bartender before landing this life-changing part. After some conflict with the rest of the cast, Patrick Dempsey gets suspended. Just because you're the hottest guy on the show doesn't mean you can act as if you are better than anyone else. His diva attitude toward his co-star and showrunner Shonda Rhimes is what seals Dempsey's fate on the show. Even before his contract wasn't renewed, he has been suspended multiple times because of his bad attitude. This happens in season 11, where Derek goes to Washington, D.C. His character, Derek Shepherd, is killed off in a strange way completely out of the blue. One moment, he is a healthy, middle-aged guy. The next moment, he's dead. All in one episode. And that's what happens when you mess with the main girl. He was fired in a friendly way, although I really don't understand the meaning of friendly firing. Being fired is awful and certainly not a friendly thing. Fans of the show are devastated that Derek is no longer in the show, and they blame Shonda Rhimes for his exit. Other cast members who have been shown the door by Ellen are Sarah Drew, Kyler Lee, Eric Dane, and Jessica Capshaw. In Ellen Pompeo's own words, you only get killed off when your behavior's bad. If you're a nice actor, you die nice. Think about Andrew DeLuca and how rough his life was on the show. From almost losing his hands to frostbite, to nearly getting beaten to death by Alex, to getting stabbed and killed by a human trafficker. Actor Giacomo Giannotti must have really messed up backstage. Ellen has really given him a violent death. Look, she's the star of the show. If you make her mad, she's going to get back at you one way or another. That being your character either dying in a nice way or in a terrible way, you have seen more terrible deaths than good ones, right? Number 2, you are replaceable. Believe it or not, but only 3 cast members from the first season are still sticking it out. That's of course Ellen, but also Chandra Wilson as Miranda Bailey and James Pickens Jr. as Richard Webber. Actors on this show have been fired for getting pregnant and having fights with co-stars. One of the main reasons that characters get replaced is bad ratings. If viewers don't like characters, they get replaced by new characters. After Dempsey's departure from the show, there had to be a replacement leading guy and boyfriend for Meredith. Martin Henderson is another dream guy released from his role as Dr. Nathan, who has played in 48 episodes from season 12 to 14. Ellen has decided that Henderson isn't doing it for her and that his storyline must end. At least she gave him a chance, don't you think? The key for staying on the show is to be as persistent as Ellen Pompeo. Only 2 other actors have managed to do so. Rule number 1, if Ellen Pompeo leaves, the show is over. Ellen's time on Grey's Anatomy continues to be an interesting one. Ellen has revealed that working on this show isn't sunshine and daisies. At times, she has felt like quitting because of the toxic work environment. The only thing she has endured all of that is that she has a family to provide for. That's what keeps her going. Who wouldn't enjoy millions of dollars of paychecks every year? She has worked hard to keep to the top and become one of the highest paid actresses on television. Ellen and Shonda have an agreement that if Ellen wants to step down from her role as Meredith Grey, then that is going to be the end of the show. It's called Grey's Anatomy after all, right? The conclusion here today is that if the cast members don't get on with Ellen Pompeo and follow her and the showrunner's strict rules, they are given the boot. Bye! Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment.